Now, you need to watch the video up to 7.2 minutes, this time series video. And he starts this exercise at about 3 minutes. Let's just see where that is. Yeah. So you really should watch that video first. But you can't hear it when I'm doing it here. So I want to show you what I did. I just copied in his numbers, okay? But then I inserted a blank row between each quarter. You don't need to do it there. You need to watch the video because you're going to get the average of 4, okay? And that average you're kind of nestling in the middle of those 4 to show that's the average of that 4. If I use F2, you'll see. So that's the average. You use commas here. So it's the average. Let me just zoom up. Hang on, I should probably zoom up. I always forget to zoom up. Let me just go back to the beginning now. If I press F2, do you see you've got the average of B1, B2, B4, B6. Now don't worry about the fact that there's not a line here and it's not all consistent because we're going to copy and paste them as values in a minute. So they won't, as I've done over here, right? But I just want to show you what's going on here. So F2. Now at this point I can start copying, okay? Because if you think of it, it's get the average of that pattern on the left. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. If I go Control C, so do you remember? And now I go Control V. It's the same number. Go in here, Control V. Go in here, Control V. Go in here, or just paste. Okay. And what it's actually copying is, if I press F2, the same array of numbers that are on the left. Okay. And again, if you've watched the video, he explains in the video that we're getting the average of 4 quarters. So in order to graph the moving average, it's a bit awkward that it's an even number. So you just get the average of each pair going down. And then you can graph it together. Now you're going to have to look at the graph or look at the video. It's not, so say if the video that he is showing you explaining moving averages takes 10 minutes. You're not going to learn that in 10 minutes. You're going to have to watch a bit, test it, watch a bit, test it. Okay. So I have got, if you can see there, that's a formula. Sorry, that's a formula. But over here, it's data. Okay. So I didn't even bother with those middle numbers because I'm not graphing them. So I'm just going to, again, you need to watch the video. I'm going to copy and paste these into a new sheet just so that all of these are values, there's no formula, but that means then I can sort of tighten it up a bit by deleting. Do you see? So I can use my control key and pick a bunch of them. Okay. And right click, delete. And that kind of bunches them up a bit. So I just want to graph these. There's going to be nothing for those. So the correct thing here probably is to do a plot of each of them. But let's just see what it looks like if we go into recommended graphs. Okay, all charts. Let's just see what the line graph looks like. And that is what you're looking for, actually. So what the moving average shows you, that even though there's a cyclical thing, that orange plot is showing you that gas use is sort of climbing, and the slope of that line would kind of give you the rate of the climb. So you could predict, you know, shortages, you could predict the need for more supplies, that kind of thing. But what we're going to try and do is apply what we've learned here in what we've done for the year. Okay. So there's the average. I don't need that graph, so I'm just going to delete it, okay? That's from an earlier thing. But if we're to get the moving averages, because I've done it in threes, this is going to work better because you can just get the average of 3, so it cuts out a bit. So I'm going to go in here and get equal average of those 3 numbers. Enter. Then I can just copy down, but I have to stop short of the last one. Okay? Now, so this is a moving average. Okay? A lot simpler really when you think of it, if you just pick. So there's those 3. If I go in there, F2, do you see it's moving down? Now we can try it with 5, we can try it with 7. Let's pick odd ones to make it work. So I'm going to try and graph this. So do you see the way, for example, if you were doing a moving average there, you can kind of see that there is an upward trend, but it's not as dramatic as that looks. And even what's going on here, that if we continued on with a few more readings, you can kind of see what's going on. It is more matching. But what stands out are kind of out of trend spikes. So the trend here is a certain thing, and I don't know, it is moving averages realistic to use on COVID data. It makes more sense for cyclical data that will change with the seasons, because then you get an underlying trend. But I think this is cyclical data that does change with the seasons. We get, we've seen that. You spend more times indoors in the winter time, it's going to spread more. You spend less time outdoors. Now, what would be interesting is to sort of see the trend of deaths. That would be more interesting because that should be pressed down, if you like, by alongside the increase in vaccinations. So I'm going to stop there.